up to you.
Hi guys, Amethyst Man here, and welcome back to the Uninkable Dads podcast. And on today's episode, we have another guest for you this week, and bringing you a turn 4 OTK. So, not an aggro deck, but you can still win on turn 4. The planets have to align to get this one to work, but it is doable. So we'll also be going through some day one deck lists. Obviously, it's Fable released today, so hopefully this episode should be out today. So happy Fable release, everyone! And we've got some deck lists for you just in case you can't open your packs before you get down to your local game store. We've got some deck lists for you to take with you. As always, I am joined by my co-host, the man that thought that Mickey BLT was a sandwich. It's Grandad Glenn.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's what he
Bit of a
stands
chewy
for,
sandwich, but a sandwich. But no, excited. Fable Day. This feel. I think we said last week. This feels like it's been so long in the making.
Yeah.
Really excited to get cracking now. Get out there. It's been really exciting. So this week I've been watching quite a lot of stuff on YouTube, and excited to see people opening the new cards online. I can't wait to actually see some, get some in my hands. Quite interesting that although we were like, oh, there's 171 reprints of, watching some people open them, then they're not quite just reprints, are they? There's, legendaries have got that bit of an upgrade now. So, legendaries that were kind of the flat image, if you like. Now obviously you've got the embossing on, you've got the new foil legendary symbol on there, you've got the rarities that have changed. So legendaries that were breaking the border of the card, if they're not a legendary, they can't break the border of the card, so the artwork's slightly changed. So just getting more and more excited.
Interesting.
So that's just made me more excited to get hold of some of these cards, and not quite just that's a reprint. It's like there are differences. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting into the meta. The more I see, the more people are cooking some spicy ideas. So excited to see that we're going to have Rob on and talk about a spicy idea today. But lots of really creative decks coming out of this rotation, which is really exciting to see. So that's what I've been up to Lorcana wise. Weekend I actually had a bit of family fun. So my dad plays Crown Green Bowls, and his club were doing an open evening with a bar.
Oh, nice.
And he said he'd like me and my brother and my son to go down, and there was a bar, so that got my son along. So that was nice. We had a bit of family fun. My dad made the mistake of going, I'll pair up with the grandson. You and your brother can go together. And then he wasn't overly impressed when we thrashed him. But
well, as long as you had a good time, that's all that matters.
It was good fun. Yeah, it was all good fun. That's been my week. But really, really looking forward to cracking on. This weekend, getting the cards. And looking at what everybody's been cooking up deck-wise and seeing how this meta shakes out.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely the first set we've had where people have been cooking up deck lists for as far in advance as we know. It's like I when I made up the red-blue deck, and obviously I posted that on my channel. If you've come across from that video, then welcome to the podcast. Even you said, when you wrote back to that, was like you're already making the answer to the answer, and when the Fable's not even out yet, it is a bit crazy. But I think it's one of those ones where we knew rotation was such a big thing. People are paying more attention this set than they have done previously. So, but 9 weeks we've got Fabled for, and 4 of them we've got set champs. So there's only 5 weeks that aren't competitive. So get cooking and get cooking quick. So we've got some decks for you in a bit, so we'll go through them. But my week's been all right. I had a relatively chilled weekend. Obviously I went to locals on Friday. I can't remember how I did now. I took a set 9 deck. I think I won 2 and lost 1, so wasn't too bad. I played against Panos, who was obviously we spoke about on show 4. He was playing DKP, and I think I gave him a little bit of a scare. He did say that without B-Prep he was he was worried there. So I made him have to find and play 3 B preps. So it was nice to put pressure on a set 8 deck. So it's looking hopeful for that deck. So and then it was a bank holiday weekend, so I had a nice chilled weekend. Didn't do much. We went to Southend on Monday. Took little Lynn down there for the day, so she went on some rides and bits and bobs. So yeah, that was good. Good weekend. Now, like we say, all hyped up, ready for cracking those packs open. So very excited to do so. I've managed to get a case as well, so I've got 96 packs to open.
Awesome.
So, be good for the hunt for that iconic. But yeah, we did some maths on the iconic hunt, which we'll cover in a minute. We'll jump into the interview of Rob, and then we'll go through the TCG maths, because TCG maths is always fun.
Definitely the only type of fun maths.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, the way I look at it, TCG maths is the pull rate of iconics is 50-50, right? Because you either get one or you don't.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50
I like
chance on every pack. Yeah, see, nice and easy. So yeah, we'll jump into the interview of Rob now. We'll go through his very spicy one-turn kill deck list, and then we'll go from there.
Hi, my name's Rob. I'm 40 years old, so I'm an Uninkable Dad too. So I've come to you with an interesting deck list. Sort of comes from my background. I've played Yu-Gi-Oh since its inception, Magic the Gathering since sort of the Onslaught block. So quite a while, but Yu-Gi-Oh did my head in when the Pendulum stuff came along. So I was just kind of like, push that aside. Couldn't keep up with Magic because it was too expensive. And then my youngest brother got me into Disney Lorcana, because I was kind of
nice.
I was apprehensive at first when the first chapter came out, but then he sort of twisted my arm last summer, and I was like, okay, and here we are.
Nice. So I understand you got a bit of a background with Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic, that you like building decks that sort of end the game very quickly.
Yeah.
So you actually emailed in with a deck list, and when I saw it, I said to Glenn, we're going to have to get you on, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to justify this deck list and explain it as well as you'll be able to. So if you wouldn't mind running us through it, I've got your deck list here. I'll bring it up.
Sure.
So what's the game plan? I know obviously it's a OTK as such.
Yeah. Right. Well, outside of the OTK, which I'll go over in a moment, the core idea is preventing being challenged. So you don't have to worry about like your Maui sharks, our sharks. Tiano's not an issue, because you're not really going to be worrying about challenging at full strength. Because that's what the static abilities do. Because with any trading card game, anything you can do for free, you do it. It's stupidly powerful. So the way this deck works, it can win turn 4 with one strategy, and that's if you luck out. Turn 5, maybe a little bit more consistent, but it has other avenues, like with the Lilos, for example. So to win turn 4, you need to play Daisy, ideally Ink and Amber, so you don't give it away to your opponent. Turn 2 is the Singer 4 power line. Quest with Daisy, so you're on 2 lore. Follow that up with the Max Goof, which is the Singer 5. So that gives you your Singer 9. Then you quest with Daisy again, so then you're up to 4 lore. Fourth turn, so this is where it should kick off, you either play Pepper Madrigal or Alan Adale, because their ability is when, well, with Pepper, it's when you sing an action, which you'll be doing anyway. But Alan Adale also does it with the Shift Power Line's secondary ability. So that's way slightly better.
It triggers twice.
Yeah. So ideally, you want the Alan Adale over the Pepper Madrigal. Then you need to sing together eye to eye. Now, the magical thing about eye to eye, you're giving your opponent lore and cards, but it's kind of irrelevant at this stage, because you're outlawing them with Pepper or Alan Adale. So
so you're gaining 3, they're gaining 2.
Exactly. And with the card draw, you want to draw into more eye to eyes. So hopefully you go through all 4 eye to eyes and end with a Pirate's Life, Quest with Daisy. You have gained your full 20 lore on that turn.
Nice.
It's when I saw I2I was revealed, with the re-readying stuff, it was just like, how has nobody else spotted this? I've seen so many other YouTubers and things talking about deck lists, and nobody spotted this.
Yeah, see, I think it's that the two law for them. I think it's such a you feel like it's such a downside to it, but like I say, when you've got things like Alan and Pepper that gain you that one extra, it doesn't really matter. Especially when you've got Pirate's Life, like you say, you can you can knock them back down again anyway. So yeah, I like I said, when you explained it to me on the email, I was just like, that's crazy. Like if you pull that off, I can imagine like the opponent just been like, yeah, okay, see you later.
Yeah. The only threat to it really that I've seen is a well-played Blurple deck, because they can exert your stuff, challenge it, get rid of it before you could even pop it off. So that's its worst matchup, I think.
Yeah, I suppose if they're not running aggro, there's no rush either. So you can turn 4, you could play Pepper and a Daisy, for instance. Turn 5, play Alan, and then start.
Yeah.
So as long as they're not looking like they're going to quest out before you could build it slightly wider and go a couple of turns later.
Yeah, you can even completely whiff it and have, say, 3 Pepper Madrigals down and have them sing it, and then you're gaining 5 as opposed to 3, so you can do it even quicker. Which is why you have, like, look at this family, don't let the frostbite bite, nothing we won't do, it means no worries, because they can also count for that law gain, that static law gain. So if you don't kind of pull it off, you can still do it whilst keeping your characters away from being challenged. Obviously, you have Beaking Undisputed in there so that you can answer stuff with the 2-cost power line or the max goof, should it be necessary. Be Our Guest, look at this family. You can filter through most of the characters, so you are hitting songs if you do the power line.
Yeah.
So that's sort of more ideal. Again, if you whiff it with the I2I, you've got the Lilos in there, and you could just throw them down for some aggressive aggro. And then you've got obviously the Rush power line who works as well.
Nice.
So you can do all that. It means no worries, means you can pull things back out, because I did go deep into the rules. You don't have to have anything in the discard to do the card. You just worry about the pay 2 less, because you can then put another power line onto an already dry power line. So if you want to combo his ability off once he's re-readied with like a Lilo or something else. So that's overall how the deck works, with static abilities and keeping them safe from harm as best as you can.
Yeah, because like you said, with the lack of removal in set 9, it's very much about challenging. 90% of cards getting banished is going to be via challenging. I think it's going to take a little while for people to get used to that, because even Amber Steel, for instance, as an aggro deck, there's no need to rush it anymore. You don't have to Daisy Quest. You can build 3 or 4 cards before you start. So it's going to be a bit interesting to see. But I know there's obviously a few flex spots in this. You mentioned,
because that's the shell. So you can sort of build around it depending on what cards you have access to. So we'll go from like sort of left to sort of bottom, and I put the enchanters in there because they look nicer. Right, with Pluto, of course, nice 1-drop. His ability stacks when you re-ready him, so you can exert lower cost repeatedly. So that's to benefit. You've then got the mini line. So if you're plopping out, if you go with the Kristoffs or the Lilos, you can power her up quite easily. You've then got the Shift mini, who is a tutor, so you can pull out whatever character you need. And then you have the other mini, who is basically got the built-in World's Greatest Criminal Mind for getting rid of those big bodies. Then you've got the Fu, who is a sort of budget version of Lilo. So when you play him, he re-ready stuff. So that's sort of self-explanatory. Ariel is your evasive answers. So when you sing a song, she gives something else evasive. Very useful. Shere Khan and the Queen of Hearts sort of go hand in hand with the Brother Bear card. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I've got my notes here. Let me look at it. The one that re-registers them and allows you to challenge without any damage. So you
nothing we do or something like that.
There's nothing we can't do or something.
Yeah.
So with Shere Khan, you can just run into something, gain lore, or with Queen of Hearts, gain cards. And if Tiana's down, you can run into the same thing. So it doesn't care if Tiana's there. Then you've got Tigger, who is, I would say, a slightly better version of Mini, because he's inkable, and if you play all those characters, he gains lore and strength. So you can answer with him or you can quest with him. And he's evasive. So again, very good. Prince Naveen's Prince Naveen. He can play the sort of the lower cost songs for free, so it can help, but he's uninkable. Then you've got Ratigan, who is a slower version of both Pepper and Annadale, but he still works for it if you wanted to sort of up on that amount. Then you've got the 4+ Raya, who re-ready stuff again.
Readies, yeah.
So again, perfect. Robin Hood, alternate version to Prince Naveen, but he searches for them instead, so you can search out those particular cards like a Pirate's Life or something if you need it. Maui Halfshark, he's Maui Halfshark, evasive, he returns an action, so one of the songs, and he gains the lore like the static ability as well. So if you have them, you can put them in. But if you're going for the one-turn kill combo, he's not gonna come in nearly.
It's not gonna help. No.
Stitch, he's there because he's the only other sort of draw engine Amber's got. Kristoff's, really, he combos with Blast from the Past if you really want to use an effect, but you need self-discard for that. But if you want to run or two, because you'll have loads of songs in there, and you just throw him down for free. Thievery, if the lore runs away from you on your opponent, you can play that, get their lore down a bit.
Yeah, it's basically baby pirate life, isn't it?
Yeah. World's Greatest Criminal Mine, one of the few removals Amber has, alongside the Uninkable song. So I mean, he's got that built in. Circle of Life, it's a monster reborn for Lorcana, but that's also synced together, so it can work for the static abilities. And then you've got Ursula Shell Necklace, which is the other draw engine Amber's got currently. So they can find utility in there.
I can imagine Circle of Life of Powerline could be quite deadly, to be honest, and especially if it's his second song. You decide that you're going to sing Pirate's Life, for instance, knock them down by 2, you gain 2, and then next thing you know, you bring in something else back from the discard as well. But, definitely a big threat there. So
obviously Powerline he quest for 2 anyway. So you did actually in the email suggest the doing the Powerline instead on turn 4. And the way you do that would be turn 1 Daisy, then you put down the 2-cost Powerline, quest for Daisy again, put down the Pepper, then you quest for Daisy, maybe sing like one of the lower cost ones if you need to. Then you shift Powerline, and then you start comboing them off instead. Although that's more like to do turn 5 if you pull it off. So it can still work that way around, but it's not as fast. But turn 5, turn 6, it's more likely to happen in this current meta, I think, because it's more. No removal.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah. Oh, very nice, very nice.
Well,
I noticed the Tigger there. I think
gives me a reason to play him to do something with my shiny bit of cardboard.
There you are. Yeah, I don't even have an enchanted yet. My brothers have pulled them. I haven't pulled one yet.
Well, fingers crossed for Fable for you.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, it's a very very spicy deck list. And when I tried playing it to try and get the OTK to work, but the thing is, I think I was too hyper focused on it. I was like, no, I want this to work. So I think if I'd sort of backed off a bit and played it like a normal deck, but try and every now and then try to pull it off. But I kept testing, and I was like, no, I need this to work, and I couldn't get it to work. But yeah, it's definitely an option. Like I say, it's a very powerful deck as it is. The one thing I think with Lilo, which a lot of people have missed as well, is that you can ready a chosen character. So in those matchups where you've got Tiana or a bodyguard, you can just ready their bodyguard out of the way.
Yeah.
So she's going to be such an powerful card. It's a shame Ruby hasn't got, apart from Amber, a strong pairing. Obviously Red Blue's fallen a little bit, but yeah, I think when we get halfway through this set, I say halfway through, it's only 9 weeks, but when we get towards set champs, then we might see Ruby starting to make a comeback. So
definitely, it's just a shame we lost some extra powerful cards in Amber. I mean, could you imagine throwing Cinderella or Ariel into this deck? It would be a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
The other one I wanted
Yeah.
to see reprinted was Zero to Hero, which was a 2-cost uninkable song that reduces cost based on the amount that you've got on your board of characters.
Yeah.
And if you comboed that in with like Power Line, you'd be able to just throw things out left, right, and centre, and it would have gone mental. So I was
Yeah,
a bit
definitely.
disappointed that didn't get reprinted, but oh well.
Yeah, I took your idea with the whole playing things for free, and I built a red blue deck with the Dan New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
The idea of just trying to get stuff out for free, and when that pops off, it's extremely good. But it's sometimes it misses, sometimes it doesn't. So, but yeah, no. Well, thank you very much for popping on and showing the deck. It's definitely got some spice. If I pull Powerline, I'm definitely tempted to give it a go.
Yeah,
So
it's one full playset of Enchanteds I'm going to be buying, even if I'm not.
Very nice.
So I know you've got quite a busy locals that you play at. Rob, is this the deck that you're going to be running?
Oh yes.
Week 1 into your locals?
Yes, 100%. I mean, I started off with the old Steel Song, sort of to get to grips with the game. So I got my Rapunzels, I got my Ariels, got my Cinderellas, the Storm package, the whole 9 yards. Didn't get very far with it because I didn't understand all the nuance with Lorcana. But after set champs, it's definitely there where you're thinking about every move you're making and 10 moves ahead, which led to the current deck. So yeah, this is definitely something I'm going to be running.
Awesome. And are you expecting to have sort of a range of decks that you're coming up against at your locals, or do people tend to play a certain style of deck?
A lot of people do go Amber Steel aggro, sadly. But there was the Diablo decks. There's the one guy who does run Blurple, who always wins the set champs. So that's always one to watch out for. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out. Reckon Christmas decks with the whole Goof Troop stuff they're going to be around a lot. The other deck idea I did have was the self-discarding one with Circle of Life to get out Big Mickeys and stuff. So that is another one you probably will see is that sort of thing.
So instead of like Channel Dog, it's discard the Mickey and then Circle of Life, bring it back.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, nice. So one question we always ask every guest on the podcast, I'm sure you're aware, is if you could be any soup, what soup would you be?
It's going to be a weird one. Probably cock-a-leaky soup, because I always think of Rowan Atkinson from The Witches when way he says it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That one took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that one, but yeah, very nice.
There you are.
So before we sign off, what do you reckon your top 3 decks will be in Fabled? If you could just have a rough idea of color combo, not decks, because
top 3 color combos. I would say Amber Steel is definitely up there as a top runner. Then Blurple, and then maybe even Red Ruby Steel. I would say, because they still have a lot of the standard reviews like Strength of Raging Fire, and tools like that. So, and they've got then they can run the Mulan shift line as well because of the 1-drop Mulan.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a big runner.
Yeah, and the ability to challenge ready characters could come in quite important, right? Because we might have a few boards that stand still in the new meta.
Like mine.
There you go. So just giving away to your locals exactly what deck they need to run to counter you. So, but yeah, no, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for reaching out to us. And,
thank you for having me.
We'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you very much.
It is up to you.
Okay, so thank you to Rob there for popping on and giving us that. That's going to be interesting. I think if some people manage to pull that one off, that's going to be hard to counter. You start seeing those cards lay out, and you're like, "Oh god, this could be over very quickly." So,
yeah, he's a man that wants to get out of the building, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it.
When on turn 6 is slow for Rob.
Yeah. 6 is all right, but turn 4 is better. I see your aggro, and I end it 2 turns earlier. So
there's some really interesting cards in that deck actually, and some. As he was sort of saying, there's a shell there. It's got this, this combo, if that comes off, that's amazing. But actually, there look like there's some really interesting lines outside of that.
Yeah, it looks like a powerful deck as it is. It's got so many tools in it, but yet it has this ability to win on turn 4. It's just like, what other control deck? Because it is in a way, because you've got Pirate's Life now, you've got B King. You've got tools to control the board and draw what you need to draw, but yet you can win on turn 4. It's like, you'd never see that with Red Blue. Turn 4, they're still ramping. It's, you might have a tipper on board. That's about it. Going from there, as always, we have our flavor text game. So last week's flavor text was all he's got is his charm. So I think I tripped people up with this one. I think I might have gone too far back. Unfortunately, we didn't get many people get this right. We had a few guesses. I think I managed to catch everyone out. But then, last week I gave you Beast and pretty much told you what the card was when I read the flavor text. So, swings and roundabouts. So last week it was Prince Naveen. I was sorting some bulk out to help the missus with her school project she's doing, and there was loads of this card in there. And I was just like, what's the point in the box? Just give us a full art card. There's nothing in it. And then I was like, he's got a flavor text. We'll use it.
Cool.
But yeah, we will bring you this week's flavor text at the end of the episode.
What card do you think you saw most of when you were sorting out that bulk load of bulk?
Bulk of bulk. I don't know. I would say there was more. I think there was more ruby green cards, emerald cards than anything else. But I can't think of one card that's like loads and loads of. I think it's quite spread. I think the uncommons, obviously, there was a lot of. But I think it was quite spread. There wasn't like one that was like 20 or anything. You had a few that was like you pick them up and you sort them and there's like 10, 12 of them. But there wasn't like one that had loads and then loads that barely had any. So there was obviously some cards that we struggled to get. So I was like, I bought out some bells and some popsicles and stuff to fit in decks because obviously she's not going to be running core constructed or anything. It's just going to be whatever we've got. So there's a few cards in there that she could play around with. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see on that one. If anyone has a pool counter deck list, so commons and uncommons only, that you'd like to share with us, drop us a message. It'll help us out with the school project. So talking about deck lists, shall we have a sneak peek on what people might be playing today?
Yeah, let's have a look and a chat. I mean, I guess we asked Rob what his top 3 decks were. What would you say your top 3 decks for day one Fabled?
Day one, you're going to see Amber aggro. You just are. It's too consistent not to. If anyone doesn't know what to play and really, really struggling, Amber aggro is just a fallback. It's going to do well. I think Purple still has a really good chance. Really, really good chance. It's a very strong deck. And then, as much as I think it will struggle against Amber Steel, I think it's got to be Purple. Just because it's a powerhouse of a deck. If you manage to drag any game to late game, it's going to win that game. But the only issue with that I find is I think a lot of the red-blue players and a lot of mainly red-blue, I can see them moving across the purple because it's the one that has the same sort of play lines. The ramp, build up, and then go. So potentially, I think green-blue's got a good chance. To be honest, there's quite a lot of decks that have a good chance, but I think day one, they're going to be your top 3, I'd say, that you're most likely to see. So, what about you?
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd probably go with the same 3 decks. I'm not sure I'd go... I'm not so sure that Amber Steel is the number 1.
Okay.
As you say, I think it's going to be played an awful lot, but I think you can... If you know that those are the top 3 decks and you know that Amber Steel is going to be very prevalent, you can tech Blurple into it more.
Yeah, you can
And
now, can't you? Yeah.
yeah, so then you've got two decks potentially prevalent in the meta that can answer the Amber Steel in Purple Steel and
Yeah.
Blurple. So yeah, I think it will be absolutely prevalent, and it will be still, if it gets its gets its start that it wants to get, it's a nightmare to handle. But it might find that everyone's targeting it. But yeah, I think those will be the three decks. So it's less surprising, I guess, isn't it? Because they're three decks that didn't lose massive amounts in the rotation,
Yeah.
and they all
Yeah.
had cards sort of sitting in the wings that maybe haven't seen so much play, but could, in the new meta, fit very nicely in.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, if we look at the so we've got a what we're going to call day one deck, but without no new cards. So just in case you're going to be going to locals, say like me, I'm opening my case later in the evening. I'm going to actually be streaming it for you guys. So anyone who is around on Twitch or you're watching on YouTube, I will be on Twitch later this evening, opening my case. So I'm not going to have any new cards to actually put in my deck. So I've got to build a deck without them. So, and which a lot of people I think are going to be in the same situation. Not many people are going to be able to get home and put them in their deck ready. So, the day one deck for Amber Steel, I think, is looking extremely strong. Obviously, Tiana's making a massive comeback. There was a card that I actually remember putting in Millie's Amber Steel aggro quite a while ago, but it just kept getting banished to Brawl and Sisu and all the cards that were around at the time. Whereas now, it's going to be quite difficult to remove. There's some answers. Lots of people come up with different answers for it, but when you're having to put 2 or 3 cards in your deck just to answer one, it's going to be an issue. So,
And with the with the Pluto as well, if you can get the Tiana down behind the Pluto,
yeah,
that's a lot of stuff to try and answer, to try and get through. Where you've got to pay 3 ink to to be able to do the challenge in the first place, and you've got to remove Pluto, and then Tiana's still sitting there. You need to take her out to be able to get other stuff.
yeah, exactly. It's like, argument's sake, say they went even like not a perfect line, but if they went, say, Daisy into Calhoun, into Tiana, into Pluto, into Gantu, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You can only answer one thing at a time most times. You're going to need a deck that can challenge multiple times or challenge ready characters or ready the bodyguard out of the way, So it's going to be interesting. I think Red Steel probably has the best option of taking down aggro, just because you can ready multiple times, you can challenge ready stuff. So there is options there, but yeah, I think it can be a bit of an interesting one. I've been playing a lot of Green Blue with Under the Sea, and it feels great, apart from when they left with 2 rhinos and a Pluto, and it's just like, oh man, the sea didn't really do much, really, did it?
Yeah.
So, and then when you start putting in cards to drop their willpower, and you're like, I'm having to play 2 cards to wipe this. It doesn't feel good.
So, that is a nice thing with this deck, that you do have lines. If that is going to be a problem, you can put higher strength characters on the board and still create pressure.
Well, when you look, it's pretty much from turn 3 onwards, you can start applying everything that's going to be above 2.
Yeah. And as
obviously,
you say,
Lawrence,
if you get Rhino down on 2,
but yeah, that's going to be very, very hard to answer. So we'll have to wait and see. I think it definitely has a very good chance. People will start taking for this, and it will fall off, I think. But it's not going to be very quick. And like we said earlier, without the board wipes, without B prep and Sisu and cards that are doing, board sweeps, you can just leave stuff readied and start to go wide. Because if you put down Daisy into a Calhoun, into Lady, and bring out I don't know, Lilo, for instance, and then start questing, if they've only managed to get 2 or 3 characters down, then they can only take 2 or 3 out at a time.
Mm.
You know, and then you put down your Tiana and Pluto, and then all of a sudden it becomes very awkward. So it's going to take a little while for people to get used to the fact that you don't need to quest straight away. You know, if they can't answer the board, if they're not playing green, they're not got Under the Sea, you don't technically have to quest till you get to about 10 lore. Once you quest for 10, because then it's like, we'll answer everything or I win next turn. So, but yeah, could be interesting. So going from there, a deck that I think could do really well. I've called this red purple slow and steady because the deck doesn't do much fast. It's all very much build up, as you know, Ruby Amethyst always has been, but it should have enough early game to start to close down that gap. Doesn't really do much in the middle, just draws a few cards, but then has a strong ending as well. So I think this could do okay. The issue is it's going to struggle against decks like Blurple and stuff like that, which can just going to outdraw this and outtempo it. So I think that's where this sort of thing is going to struggle. This was the best I could come up with for Ruby Amethyst. I don't know really what else you'd put in or take out.
The Elena,
Yeah,
maybe on a spot for that.
yeah. I mean, you got Lumiere in here, haven't you? So Lumiere gives everything 1, but Elena is 2, isn't it? So potentially, but then you have also got the Moana, so you can obviously challenge and give something +3.
Mm-hmm.
Most things early, you shouldn't have too much issue because, I mean, Raja's a 3/3 with Lumiere, who's a 4/3. Queen of Hearts obviously is a conditional 4/4. Madam Juice is there to help with the early game, but again, we're in the same situation of once they start getting past turn 3 or 4 and they start slapping things down that have got 4 or 5 health, you're no longer picking things off your trading, and then all of a sudden your board's going to look just as empty as theirs is.
So your Milan's quite vital.
Yeah, I can see
but if you can
Milan
get
being
your Milan off,
quite, vital. So it could be
it's an interesting
interesting to see.
deck. Yeah, I mean Elsa, I think, is huge in this meta. Milan being able to hit multiple characters, so you only need to exert one of them with Elsa that Milan can challenge into, and then you're potentially taking out 2 others as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to help. I think the only issue is, like you say, you look at this and be like, if you're going to play Amethyst, you're better off with blue Amethyst, so level, because of that ramp. And I don't know, we're back to Genie Wars again, aren't we? If you're going to play Amethyst, you might as well play blue. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Blurple has certainly got the edge, but yeah, there are a lot of Ruby Amethyst fans.
There are
that will like to play Ruby Amethyst. I think Everybody's Got a Weakness is another really interesting card in this meta.
Yeah.
With less removal, you are probably going to be leaving a lot of damage around with, your Bells, your Elsas, Queen of Hearts, all those sorts of cards, Prince John. So, if you can suddenly play this and move 3 damage counters from 3 cards to banish one of their cards, and then you're drawing 3 cards off of that, I mean, that's a huge tempo swing.
Yeah, I think that works best in this deck, doesn't it? With the damage being left on things is more likely to be on this than anything else, I think. So, like I said, I've only gone down the road of Milan for the self-damage because I thought you're going to be challenging, so you're going to have enough damage. Obviously, Prince John does, but that's another conditional one. It doesn't come in damaged. But I think it has options. I think it definitely has options, and I think it's not completely dead in the water. But I think it's going to need a lot of tweaking before we'll see Ruby Amethyst back up on top tier, I think. So going from there, obviously, straight into Blurple, which straight away, when you just compare the two side by side, this looks very messy, unorganized, refined, and then into purple, which is almost 4 of everything, you know. The only one I wasn't sure on this was Monstro. Just from testing that I've done, you don't have enough cards in hand for Monstro. Most of the time, if you're playing Monstro and discarding a couple of cards, you probably emptied your hand. You don't have spares as such. So that's one card that after I put it in, I was like, we could probably check that out. That's a spot where Dumbo would go, but obviously this is designed for day one with no new cards in. But you could easily swap Monstro out for Dumbo, and this deck would run just as well, if not better. So,
do you think the Iago can stay as a 4 of?
I think
just
so.
feel
I think so.
that the decks are either going to be steel or they're going to be amethyst. If they're steel, they're possibly running cannons. They're definitely running strength. If they're amethyst, they're running hypnotic strength.
The biggest
Obviously.
issue that Steel has, though, is evasive removal. So if they're using their strength and cannons to take out Iago, your Genie and your Elsa are more likely to survive.
That's a good point.
So, and Genie, obviously, question for 2, and Dumbo as well, for instance. You know, if they've just used the strength to take out Iago and then you play a Dumbo, they're going to be like, I should have saved that. You know, so, and there is only 4 in the deck, and you've got to find them. I don't imagine many steel decks running all 4 fighter cannons. It being uninkable makes it a bit awkward. You've got Smash as well, but I mean, that's a very specific deck. I think you're more likely to find that in a green steel deck than you are amber steel. But I don't know. I suppose if you know you're going to be running into a lot of steel, you could potentially drop 1 or 2 and stick something else in. But yeah.
And this has 14 uninkables. That's quite a high uninkable count for Blurple.
Yeah. For the one change I have made since I built this was the Donald. I changed it out for the self ramp Donald instead.
Yep, the 5 cost.
Yeah, just because on 5 you could play that and then play Hades next turn. So I changed that out. I think that might be why. I think I kept bricking with it. The Elsa as well, the 8 cost Elsa, I'm not sure on. It feels great when you pull it off, but half the time you're buying yourself a turn. Most of the time it's not enough. They still manage to get the win. It's a little bit too late. I know it's a shift 6, but it's still a little bit too late. And most of the time your Elsa's got damage on as well, because this one would have run into something and then you're going to shift it next turn and it comes in with damage on. If it has 2 or 3, then it's only takes 2 or 3 more to take it out. So yeah,
and
I think
Kida
this is
too slow for this. The 4 costs blue Kida.
Oh, I hadn't really thought of Kida. That's potential.
Probably too slow against aggro, but
too slow against aggro. Long game would be nice. Yeah, long game, I could see it being nice. The one card that I think depends on how much green we see around. In testing, I've found a lot of Emerald Chromicon. I keep running into people running green and they're playing it.
Would make sense, yeah.
It's making things very, very awkward. So if that's the case, the new Alice would go in, which is obviously the hideaway on the body. So then you could put that Chromicon into the ink and still quest for 2. So yeah, I think that may have to go in if we see a lot of Emerald. But I don't think we will. It's quite an awkward card to play. It's 3 cost uninkable. So, and then I believe I've got one more, which is the purple steel mine. So this is very much again that idea of being able to ping the damage, like you say. So this is where your Iago might not be doable because of the fire of the cannons, but I mean, 7/4 mine wouldn't trigger it, so it'd only damage it. So you still got a chance there. The Madamim Elephant, I'm not sure on. I put it in as a test, but I find most of the time you don't have something to bring back. And it's a very almost a negative play because it doesn't have rush.
Well, unless it's bouncing the dock, maybe. I mean, bouncing the dock would be
Yeah,
valuable, right? But
that's a potential. Yeah,
but
didn't
yeah,
really think of that.
interesting.
Because I played against a game where they had, I was playing Emerald and I only had one character on board. So I played Man and Mim, bounced that character, and then they played Marvel's No Best and put this back in my hand. And all of a sudden I'm at a massive negative because I've gone from one character on board to both of them now being in my hand and a turn later as well. So I'm not too sure. That's what's only a 2. I potentially drop that and put another genie in. But yeah.
7 Dwarfs Mine just feels like a maths game I can't work out.
Yeah.
You know, because you're trying to do something and have that 2 ink left over to move something into the mine. So I think
I
it can
think
be very effective. But
unlike other locations, you don't play on curve. So yeah, you gain 1 and lore from it, but I don't think you play it for that. So you might play the happy, you play something else, you get a couple cards, you do your first dog to refill your hand, and at that point you'd slap it down. Because once you're on to 4 or 5 ink, you can put it down and use it straight away. So therefore you can do that almost like surprise as such of, paying 4 ink and you're going to be able to put down a location and do 2 damage to something is going to be more impactful than playing it on curve on 2, it not doing anything that turn, probably not doing anything next turn because you're not going to spend 2 out of your 3 ink to move something. So you probably don't do anything for 3 turns, and then by then it could get removed.
yeah, and you've got the big tink in here, but no shift.
Yeah, again, it's finding space for the little one. The only decent one we've got is obviously the evasive. I think it's a 1/4. It's possible. I potentially drop the white rose for it. Just the white rose is just quite nice with the extra thing. I mean, I think this deck changes massively with the new cards that are out because you'd instantly. I don't think you'd run Dumbo in this just because you don't have enough evasives. So, I mean, happy is evasive on turn, I suppose. But you'd probably put in the Lilo instead of your Lena. So that's +2 to everything, not just whatever you choose. Gives a alien ability to challenge. So therefore, you might then drop the White Rose for Stitch, for instance, to give you those options. One card I'm really unsure about in this is the Giant Cobra. As much as it's really nice, it eats into your hand. So unless you can really, really get that card draw working for you, I mean, the Diablo and Cusco is nice because it does give you that element of being able to find some cards. But I've come into multiple times where I've top deck Cobra and you're just like, well, I pass this turn then because there's nothing I can do. But then that might have just been the way I'm playing it. I think everyone has to get used to having little cards in hand. So it's like you need to ask yourself on every turn, do I need to ink? Just because I can, do I need to ink here? It's like you top out in this deck at 6. You don't need to go past 6.
Yeah.
But I was finding myself in the Blurple matches, going to like 12 ink, and then I'm like, why am I on 12? Like Hades is 7. I shouldn't be past that. That's what's that? 7. That's 5 cards I put into my ink that could be in my hand here. So you really do have to ask yourself, do I have to ink here, or do I just hold on to this?
Yeah, it's going to change the game. It's also going to change the game in terms of. I was thinking about this earlier. I think the mulligan changes.
Yeah.
Because you could previously you'd had enough card draw to mulligan for certain things, have some card draw in your hand, and go, fine, I'll draw into that later on.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can't think like that. You've probably got to think, well, you got to think a bit more because you got to think, well, I need if I need that card, I've got to try and draw into it, but also I've got to be slightly cautious because if I do mulligan heavily and I draw into a bunch of nothing, I may not have a way out of that.
Yeah.
Whereas before you'd have gone, I don't know, sing friends on the other side and draw 2 cards,
Find
and
some
then
cards, yeah.
fine, I'm fine, or Porpsicle, and then keep cycling Porpsicle,
That's
and
it.
all of that. So without that, I think it, as you say, it changes your decision about inking. It changes your the way you have to approach the mulligan as well. So yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah,
going to throw up some interesting challenges.
I think it changes deck building as well, to be honest. It's like, I reckon on an average, obviously I don't know the maths, I haven't worked it out, I'm just picking numbers off the top of my head here, but I would say on average, before rotation, most decks probably saw 30% of their cards
Yeah,
quite
sounds
easily.
fair.
I think now you'll be lucky if you're seeing 20. So, those one-off cards and two-offs are going to be hard to find. If they're a card that you want to see, they need to be 3, if not 4. Which I think is going to make deck building harder. And the first ink and mulligan have always been probably the most crucial part, because that basically sets up the rest of your game. That's going to tell you what you're doing for the first 2-3 turns of the game. And now it's getting from that to it being even more important. Because if you, like you say, if you're in a situation where you ink an Elsa turn 1 because you've got nothing else, because you've over mulliganed or took a chance, the chances are you might not see another one. that could be the only one you see that game. If you're only seeing 20% of your deck, that's not a lot of cards to be going through. So I think until we get out of Fabled and we get potentially card draw comes back in Whispers, I think Fabled is going to be a completely different playstyle. It's not just rotation; it's a completely different playstyle, as well as the meta changing. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to take a little while for people to get used to, I think. Not having those wide board answers is one thing, but also not having cards in hand is definitely another. So
Yep, absolutely. But there's some deck lists for you. So you don't need new cards to win games. Obviously helps you look cooler when you lose if you've got the new cards, but you don't need them to win games. That's probably a good thing. I think
so.
from some of the news that we're hearing, the new cards look amazing, but it feels like getting hold of them, it's going to be a bit like trying to get my grandkids off the trampoline. I think it's going to be a bit difficult to do. We're hearing that the print runs are a bit short. That is likely to push up the prices of the fewish new cards that are likely to be meta. Your Dumbos, etc., look like they're going to be a bit of a tasty, a sort of Tamatoa-esque price.
I think it's hard in that, yeah.
So
I think so on this, there was, I don't know exactly how much of this is correct. So obviously this is only what I've heard, that when Jafar got released and the Play Hub got released, game stores got changed from being able to buy from any distributor to only being able to pick one distributor, which is where the issues are coming in. So where they could go, well, I'll have 4 cases from you, 10 from you, 20 from you, they now have to pick one distributor. So if you end up with an area where all the people in that area pick the same distributor, the distributor could sell out. So therefore, that's where the issues are coming in. So argument's sake, in London, we know that Brotherhood, Zombie Calf, and others have all sold out, and that's highly chanced just because they all use the same distributor. So therefore, it's not that the complete sets run out, it's a case of that distributor's run out. So that distributor then has to apply for more from Ruffenberger or whoever they get it from. Then they'll be able to restock the local game stores. So just because that's a thing in some areas and some big areas doesn't mean it's going to be the case at your local game store. So, don't over panic, check with your local game store, because they may be fine. I believe ours is going to be completely fine, from what people are ordering. I think we've got more than enough for what everyone needs, so I don't think there's any issues. But also on the other hand of that, I think it is a shorter printed run to protect the iconics and the price of the game, because if all these new cards come out and they weren't worth anything, the whole game's going to plummet, because you've got the reprints, which are already going to be worth less straight away. So, but I think as you were saying with the Dumbo and Tamataya situation, it was like Tamataya when that came out. I think I pre-ordered mine on Card Market for like £32 each or something. And at the time I was like, that's a lot, but I'm going to take a chance. I bought 3 of them. I ended up pulling one. So I had my playset very early on. They did go up. They ended up 45.50. Dumbo's starting a pre-order on Card Market for around 60. So it's already breached that point. So there's a good chance if the distributors don't get the product to people quickly, that price is going to stay up there, and that price will stay up there for quite a while. So it's going to be quite interesting to start with. So hence why we brought you the deck list with no new cards in, because not so much that you can't get hold of it, but it's expensive when you do. That you might only want to run 1 Dumbo, not 4. So
Yeah, but you don't need Dumbos, so don't panic.
no, exactly.
Yeah, there will be more supply coming online. So,
Oh yeah,
unless you really feel the need, or you've really got to have those shiny cards in your hand week 1, just wait a little bit, patience it out. Things will even it
It
out a
will
bit over the
balance
next
itself
few
out.
weeks.
You got to imagine the big game, the big stores get released 2 weeks later, and I think that's where the flood will then come in. Everything will come back down again, because obviously they will have massive amounts of stock. So there shouldn't be an issue. It's just a case of right at the start could be a bit interesting. So it's only really if you're going to events that you really push that you want those cards that you may buy them. But apart from that, wait it out and you should be fine. So.
Any sleeper cards for us? Because you're pretty good, FPS Madness,
Sleeper
at
cards.
picking.
It's been difficult this set. Really difficult. I spotted Tiana quite early, but I wasn't expecting it to fly up quite as much as it did. So when I thought of it, I was like, nothing really removes that anymore. This could be quite good. That I go back in Millie's deck. And then I was going to put a message out in our group and stuff, and I was like, it might go up by a couple quid. I don't imagine it being that much. And then pretty much Cold Market sold out. It went absolutely mental. She went from like £4 card up to 17 or something stupid.
Yeah.
So that went up by quite a bit more than I was expecting. But from new set wise, I don't think there is. I think they're all just good. There's not one that really stands out, So you got the Scar's going to be extremely good in an ally deck. With people have already proven with support now, because a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, but what are you banishing? You got to banish Pluto to get anything out of it." And it's like I'm sitting there going, "But things get +2. You can add things, So you can, and with support in blue." And funny enough, blue steel ally, you can
with
buff
that
things up
Jasmine.
pretty quick. Yeah,
It's probably one of the better card draw engines.
I think
in the
it
game,
is
actually.
probably the best for early game. To the point where I'm pretty sure up until yesterday, the Jasmine Enchanted had sold out because everyone was buying that. It's the best early game card draw, 100%. You're questing with a 2/5. And then a lot of people are then running Pleakley. So when she starts to get damage on her, it looks like they're going to take her out. You just stick both of them in your ink and gain 2 ink from it. So she looks very, very powerful. I think Blue Steel Ally's going to definitely have a good chance. I think it's just going to take a little while for people to work out what support cards to run in that deck. I know a lot of people are testing the Alice and stuff, which gives everything support, but the issue is she comes in a little bit too late, and so I think there's definitely options with that deck. I think it's just going to take a little while to work it out. Unfortunately, we do have some very, very good Blue Steel players in the community, so I don't think it's going to take long. And we should get some sort of answer on how good that deck's going to be. But the other one, obviously, Dumbo's it's just good. It turns any evasive into lore and cards. And then I don't really know. What were the other ones that would stand out to you?
Stand out or potentially sleeper. I guess, Powerline stands out. Max Goof stands out.
I played against a testing game the other day where my opponent had the max goof down and they had a couple of songs in the discard already. It was an absolute nightmare. I just couldn't answer the card because they would just play Mo's No Best and bounce whatever I had. Then they'll play You're Welcome and get rid of it and do something. It's like I just physically couldn't answer the card. So I think that one could be quite interesting. It'll take a certain deck to build it, but I think that one is quite interesting. The only one really that I think potentially a sleeper is the new Jasmine, not the old one, the new one, where you discard and strengthen up. But again, whether that's going to see play, we don't really know. There's nothing really that goes that tall, is there? There's nothing you need to hit for 28, you know. I mean, you've got Namari if you want to do that anyway, but
Yeah.
Not too sure. It's going to be an interesting one, definitely. So obviously a lot of people are buying cases and bits and bobs to hunt down their new epics that they're after. And a lot of people are going after the iconics. So we have some TCG maths for you. Now, this is done by me, so it could be completely wrong, right? So I'm hoping I shouldn't be too far off. So, as most people will know, that when you buy a case of Lorcana, you're 99.9% guaranteed to get an enchanted. It's not a guarantee because some people have not pulled one from a case and some people have pulled two. So their one should have been in that case. So it's possible not to, but you're more than likely going to get an enchanted from a case. Going from there, they obviously said that iconics are going to be harder to get than enchanted. So everyone then assumed that iconics were going to be 1 in every 4 cases, 1 in every 5, somewhere around there, which again I think is a pretty good assumption, really. So in a case you get 96 packs, so in say every 4 you're looking at 384 packs, so that's 1 in every 384. So again, that sounds about reasonable. We then had the discussion of when they said harder to get than enchanted. So if I was hunting for the Dumbo enchanted, there's no guarantee you're going to get it in the first case. There are 12 enchanted, so therefore you've technically got a 1 in 12 chance on your case of hitting that enchanted you want.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the 96 packs, but you've got a 1 in 12 of actually hitting it. So therefore, we then realised that what they could have meant is actually it's 1 in 13 cases that you may hit an iconic, which then works out. Sorry, there's a plane going past.
Probably be coming over me next.
Yeah, that's it. So we then worked out, obviously, that there's a potential it could be 1 in 13 cases. So that works out a 1 in 1,248 packs.
That's a few packs.
Yeah. When I worked it out,
let's know if you buy that many packs and open them all at once just to see if you get the iconic.
Yeah, that could be good. That'd make a YouTube video. So so going from that, obviously, I then thought that's ridiculous. That's not what they mean. That's crazy. So I then did some research. Currently on Card Market, obviously this is going roughly by what we have knowledge available to us. On Card Market, the only people allowed to list are either power sellers or professionals. So they either buy and sell professionally or they own a store. That's the only reason you're allowed to list the Card Market already. So on Card Market, there's currently 135 enchanteds listed, but only 8 iconics. So that means that 135 cases have been opened and listed, but only 8 of them pulled iconics. So that's a 1 in 16. So it looks like there's a high chance that it is 13 and above cases. Obviously, they may not have listed it. They may have enchanteds they haven't listed. You know, there's a lot of variables there, but you're not seeing 20, 30, 40 iconics listed here. We are only seeing 8 out of 134 cases. So there's a good chance it's extremely high.
What price are we talking if you want to go and pick up an iconic right now?
So at the minute, I think they're around 15 to 2 grand, roughly 1,500 to 2 grand. If the maths is correct and it is 1 every 13, 14, 15 cases, I think it should probably be higher. you're probably talking more like 3.5. So anyone that does get one, if you want a quick sell, if you sell it for 1,200 quid, it will go because people will want it, which is a crazy amount. If obviously we turn out and it's lower, I can see them settling around about 600-700. But from what we can see and what knowledge and information we have currently, it's looking like they're going to be extremely, extremely hard to get hold of. So,
as I said to you earlier, that means the pack rush is dead.
well, yeah.
It's not dead, but I'm not opening. I'm not blind opening packs. Yeah, opening packs, shoving them down, and just playing with
shuffling them without sleeves, and then you're just like, I play. Oh my god, that 1,200-1,300 card's got a giant scratch down the middle. So yeah, I think pack rush is definitely just check the back one. Yeah. Don't worry about the rest. Just check the back one, just in case. So, but yeah, it could be interesting. It could be interesting. I think it's definitely given the game the proper chase card that I think for hardcore collectors that it needed. But I think they are slowly moving towards the collector player base more. Currently, we have a really good player base. It's really well designed for people who want to play the game. You can get the product, you can get the cards. But for collectors, it's kind of, you've got the odd promos here and there, but there's nothing major. Obviously, they're bringing in the cruise line stuff now. You've got the
that
one
bell
where you have to
amazing.
complete, like you have to complete quests and stuff like that. So they're bringing in that collector's stuff that are going to be a higher price. So it's like the cruise stuff. I think they're like 400 or 500 quid a card because you have to go on a cruise to get it. So it's one of those ones of a lot of people are like, oh well, does that mean it pays for the cruise? Like, not quite. You can't quite sell free cards and pay for a cruise, but it's up there. It's up there. But yeah, so it could be interesting. But I'm definitely looking forward to this evening. So if you're watching now, don't forget, I will be live on the Uninkable Dad YouTube tonight, opening my case. So come and enjoy me for the iconic hunt. I do only have one case, not 13, so there's no guarantee. I'm definitely not opening 13. But yeah, we shall see. Hopefully we'll get some good pulls. So
hopefully, I'll be listening from the other side of town.
Yeah.
I expect I'll hear you if you pull the iconic.
Yeah, definitely. So the obviously over the weekend we've got Fable release, we've got Pack Rush, and we've got Super Sealed on your birthday. Are you looking forward to that one?
On my birthday, yeah, I am. Yeah, really looking forward to it. It hasn't caused any grief with. Present. That would be a very nice birthday. Well, that might be what I need to do because it hasn't caused any grief with the wife whatsoever. Me going out to play Lorcana on my birthday. But yeah, if I come back with the iconic, that might sort that one out.
Yeah, that's it. You went and did what? Yeah, but look, shiny cardboard. That doesn't mean anything. Expensive shiny cardboard. Right, okay, there we go. Right. So yeah, I think even the enchantments are going to be really good for holding its price value this set as well, to be honest. Most of them that I've seen online are already sitting like 300-400. I think the Dumbo's like 6. I don't know what it is about that card. I mean, it is a good card, but I don't quite get the attraction to it.
It's Dumbo. It's cute. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure the mechanic. I think it might be overhyped. I don't think it ends up being a 4 of. I think it gets played, but I think people find ways to answer it, and it's not going to be the be all and end all. That
I mean, I suppose the thing is you don't
card,
cross with it, do you? You just sit there and let other evasives. I mean, I think the thing is we're forgetting that the lack of card draw at the minute. It is been able to turn things sideways to draw a card and gain lore is quite powerful. So we'll have to wait and see. On that one, but we'll have to say it. So. But if you're saying that the fact of the card's cute, so therefore it's doing well. So how much of the enchanted bloody Toy Story cards are going to be?
Oh yeah,
and enchanted Woody. Everyone's going to want that.
Oh yeah, Buzz
So
Lightyear, definitely.
yeah, Buzz. You'll have the full set. I wonder if we'll get that. You got Woody, we'll have Rex,
That
Mr. Fathead.
That Circle of Life enchanted is gorgeous.
That is a very, very nice card. Yeah, yeah. I think that is to be honest, I'll call that my sleeper card. Although it's not really slept on, but that card can definitely put in some work. There's some like Rob was saying earlier, a self discard stuff where you can put powerful cards in your discard on purpose, and
Yep.
then play that to bring them back. Maybe I'll build one. That's what I'll try and get done. See if out of the case when we open the case later, let's see if we can put together. We just got Pole Circle of Life first, but we'll see.
Well, yeah. So Amber Steel, Milan.
That's what I was thinking.
Discard the big Mickey. Play. What would you need?
You need singers.
Two troubadours. Is that enough? 8. Yeah, 2 troubadours. Sing a 4.
Yeah, bring it down to turn 4.
Bring the Mickey back.
10-10 Mickey on turn 4. Perfect. Guys, editor FPS Man is here, and I'll just drop this quick one in. As I was getting the Circle of Life card, I noticed something with this, which I just find insane, and you got to give credit to the Lorcana artist for even coming up with this. So if you look at the left-hand card, which is the Circle of Life standard legendary card, you can clearly see there that you've got, which we believe is going to be Mufasa there, and then Rafiki is holding up Simba. Now, when you then move across to the Enchanted, the card completely changes, and you got that scene from the second film where that's actually Simba and Nala with their little, which I can't remember the name of it now. I'm not going to try to think I can think of it because I really can't. I'm not even sure if I've got Rafiki right, but you get the idea. The card on the left, the non-enchanted, is from the first film. The card on the right, the enchanted, is from the second film. Really nice little touch there. Really like that. I just spotted it as I was pulling up the card for the video. And yeah, congratulations, to the artist for I'm guessing they collaborated on that one. 2 different artists on each card, but I'm guessing they worked together to come up with that idea. And yeah, if you look at this, there's so many hidden little details in the background of these cards, and very impressed with this one. So I will let the old FPS and Glenn finish off the video. Thanks for watching. I think that's it for this week. I don't think there's anything else left to cover. So we don't have any new news. Lorecast is on tomorrow. For us recording now, it's Wednesday, so Lorecast is on Thursday. So unless there's anything massive on there, if there is, I'll try to sneak it in the edit. But if not, that'll be it. So best of luck for everyone with your pack pulls today. Hope I would say hope you all get an iconic, but by the looks of the maths, that's not really going to be doable. So hope you all get the card you're after.
Yeah, so happy Fable Day. So do let us know in the comments below what your best pull was, what your most chase card is. Obviously, if you got some value out of this video, give us a like. Consider subscribing to the channel. That all helps us very much. Obviously, we featured deck lists on here today, but we will link back to another video that we did a couple of weeks ago, which had some more sort of deck lists and some thoughts about how the Fable meta might shape up. So if you're looking to really get yourself ready for kicking off Fabled, and where the Fable meta might go over the next couple of weeks, there's plenty of content to help you out with that.
Yeah, 100%. And if you do have any deck lists or anything you want to share with us, like Rob did today, feel free to reach out and we'll get in contact with you. So, but yeah, as always, it's time to roll up that playmat.
Pack away the dice.
And remember, stay uninkable.
See you next time.
See you next time.